Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sonic Chronicle. My name is Owen, and today this is going to be a video where I just kind of talk at the camera a little bit. You see, earlier this week I saw a video from Justin Hawkins on Justin Hawkins Rides Again, where he talks about an issue that has been quite pervasive on YouTube for quite a while now, and he's really bringing it up because it has been really brought to his attention by comments that he has received in his videos. And I thought it would be worth chatting about here because it's actually the same kind of comments that I've gotten on some of my videos as well. The issue that he is referring to here is the issue of using material like music in your videos in order to provide a review. And this is something that has been an issue for a while. He talks about it as being used to be able to use 6 seconds or so without being flagged by the system, and now it's down to about 3 seconds or so. As a video format, that does not lend itself particularly well to reviews, because obviously you want to talk about things that you enjoy in the track, and you want to provide examples of the things that you enjoyed in the track as well. And providing a 3-second snippet doesn't do that. As a result of that 3-second limitation, people have commented on his videos on Justin Hawkins Rides Again, saying, hey, what gives? You're talking about this stuff and you're giving a 3-second snippet, and it's not enough for you to be able to highlight these things. We can't kind of get a sense as to what you're doing. And his response is, well, look, unfortunately, that's the way it is at the moment. And this is the same criticism that I actually received quite recently on my Voice of Bassprot Transisi review, where, rightly so, people in the comments called out that, how can I, do this review? It would be better if I had provided you with examples over the course of that video. And realistically, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. But in order for me to be able to potentially, reach as many people as possible, I can't do that. My hands are tied by the YouTube machine. And certainly if at some point in the future I want to monetize this channel, I want to have limited ads in place in order to make some kind of meager living from this, in order to be able to fund different bits and pieces and put it back into the community. I need to be able to have these videos out there and be monetized. And if I have snippets of audio in there, I can't do that. And that's sad. And what's sadder is what brought this to the attention of Justin Hawkins as well. Some of you might be aware of the Rock Professor. I believe that's what he's called, the Rock Professor. I apologize if I've gotten that wrong. But he has basically said he had stopped posting for a while because he didn't know how he was going to make it work. He was getting slammed with these, copyright strikes. Or not even copyright strikes, but the demonetization has really, really affected him. In particular, the limitations of who can see these videos, and again, the threat of copyright strikes. And that's something that, again, to a much lesser degree, I have been faced with throughout the lifespan of this channel. And I'll show you that in a moment. And yes, there are ways around them, or around that, but unless you want to put videos out that have 3-second snippets at a time, or if you want to upload something and then miss being able to strike while the iron is hot and simply put in a claim, that's you're going to miss the boat on your video. Things are going to time out and things will move on, and the news cycle will move on, and you're not going to be able to make the most or have the most impact with that video. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that if you get a claim on your video, a copyright claim, you have the option to contest it and dispute it, and that's absolutely fine. You absolutely have that right. However, the person who you are complaining to, the person you are disputing to, has 30 days to respond to that. And every time, they will take that 30 days in order to respond, or even not respond, and it simply times out, in which case the system goes, oh, well, I will release this back to you because the complaint, or the person you've complained to has not responded to it at all in the time frame. And that's one way to address it, and that's fine. But then I watched a video from Danny Sapko then as well, who was also kind of involved in this, and he talked about how when he gets some copyright claims, He gets copyright claims on some of his content, like claiming that it is like a live recording of the original musician, which is in one way a real compliment, but in another way it's just like a real kick in the nads. But he has talked about how some of his copyright claims have effectively been from the wrong person, right? That it has been a situation where someone who has done a cover of an artist's work has claimed his cover, and that is bizarre. And that is another flaw in the system that is here on YouTube. And it's actually something that has impacted me fairly recently as well. Something similar happened to me around Christmas time. I tried to upload a cover of Frankie Goes to Hollywood, like a brief cover, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, The Power of Love, and it was flagged as being the live version of Frankie Goes to Hollywood, The Power of Love, which again, bit of a compliment, but also really impacted my ability to get that out in a timely manner around Christmas. And you know, maybe it's my fault for not planning ahead and knowing that is the kind of thing that would happen, but that's besides the point. This is a flaw in the system. So let's take a quick look at my own channel here, right? And let's look at, I suppose, my most recent videos here. So give me 1 second here. Okay, so here we are over and we are looking at the YouTube channel. This might be a weird sensation for you considering I'm down in this corner and not in the middle, but anyway. Yes, so here I am looking at my YouTube channel content in the background. This is what the back end looks like for those of you who haven't looked at this kind of thing before. And here you can see like a bunch of my videos and the details of that content here as well. So up here at the top, we have 5 songs you've probably never heard before. It is publicly visible, which means that everyone can see this video. Great. But we can see here that it has been flagged for copyright protected content. That makes sense. These are 5 songs you've probably never heard before. I tried to speak over this as much as possible, and that's kind of what I try to do consistently when I'm doing reviews as well. I try to talk over the music enough so that it's not the content you're there for, right? You're there to hear an opinion, you're there to hear a take on the music itself. But apparently that's not enough. And generally speaking, that's the argument that I make when I file disputes. And I have often filed disputes, primarily in the early days of the channel, but I'll talk about that in a moment. So if I click on this See Details button here, it'll bring up additional detail around what that looks like, okay? You can see here that, all these songs that are in this video, if you haven't seen that video, please go and watch it. It's fantastic. Save Me or Destroy Me by Grey Flowers. This claim doesn't restrict your video at the moment. Ferrari, Wonder Villains doesn't restrict your video at the moment. Love's an Arrow, Forget Romance, Let's Dance, right? So you can click onto these then as well to see the further details. And this displays the impact on your video. Okay, so if I become a member of the YouTube Partner Program, this claim may affect your ability to modify the video. And the claimants here are the Orchard Music on behalf of Firebox Music. So the Orchard is actually someone who's fairly prolific as a third party, who will claim pretty much anything out there if you allow them to. But generally speaking, they will back down. And I know this from experience, right? That if they try to claim something from you, you can basically dispute it, and generally speaking, you will win that dispute. But again, you're going to have to wait that 30 days. They're going to try and do that. And this gives you the option down here to take action. If you click on that, it gives you options to trim out the segment, to erase the song, replace the song, and so on, or dispute it. Generally speaking, I dispute. Because if I don't dispute, it's going to impact, I suppose, the video itself and the quality of the video itself. And that's going to be the same across all these. And again, we've got the Orchard here as well on behalf of No Dancing Records. We get Love's an Arrow. That's Beggars Group Digital on behalf of Rough Trade. I haven't seen that one before. That's a new one for me. And who do we get for CD Baby? Okay, Pop for Pop Recording Group. So CD Baby are another one that is prolific. If you're unaware of CD Baby, they're kind of like a false label that you use for distribution, similar to DistroKid, but CD Baby, has, in my opinion, and from what I've read online, has more flaws than things like DistroKid. So that's one video, right? But you can see that there's a bunch of them down here, like the play along for Renegade Sheep. We can see here that it doesn't impact my channel at the minute, but the claimants are WMG, so Warner Music Group on behalf of Dark Anthem Records. So Warner Music Group would own this record company, I imagine. They're a subsidiary of Warner Music, I imagine. So that's why they are getting that. But again, I guarantee that, like it says there that it may impact my channel. I guarantee that, you know, if I were part of the YouTube Partner Program, I would be seeing like a yellow cash symbol there. It wouldn't be green. Money would be going directly to the band, or at least the label, rather than the band, simply because, you know, I talk about stuff, right? And again, like a lot of this is going to be me figuring stuff out and working out music. It's an educational video more than anything else. It's not about like reviewing anything. So there's no real fair use protection there, which is madness, right? Because again, the dispute that I used to put in consistently, and again, that was quite early in when I kind of started doing this. I used to dispute pretty much everything. You'll see back here that, you know, some of these are still partially blocked and things like that, which is another aspect that we'll come back to. But some of these have copyright claims that, you know, had copyright content in them. Or actually, if I go back here, see the details on this one. Is that one that I challenged? Anyway, it's not important. What is important here is, you know, that you can see that everything that I did, because of the release radar reviews, they were all, you know, copyright flagged, when really all I was doing was listening to music and I was cutting it up, right? The release radar reviews, I never listened to the entirety of a song, right? I was cutting up a track into snippets because that was the nature of how I was recording, right? That as I was recording, I was talking over stuff and I was only including my comments on specific pieces. I never included the entire song, so no one would be able to listen to the entire song anyway, even if they wanted to. And it was for review purposes. It was not for, you know, to put the entire track out there. And that is not automatically flagged as fair use, which is crazy, right? As part of the YouTube system. For some reason, music is more challenging to deal with as a fair use property than watching another video and not reacting to it at all, and suddenly that is React content. Even like if you have your cam in the bottom corner and you're barely reacting to something, that apparently is React content. Whereas this, where you're not playing the entirety of someone else's content, it is much more difficult apparently to flag, despite the fact that, again, this is not the entirety of the track. Anyway, that's a whole thing. The other aspect then as well is the visibility, which is quite important here, because obviously if people can't watch your video, it's not getting out there. You're not going to get as many views, which if you are getting paid, if your videos are monetized, then, you know, there's going to be issues there. So if we look at this one, the Green Day is back, or are back, the American Dream's Killing Me review. Look at this one as being partially blocked. Go to the copyright, see the details. You can see here that the visibility flags that this video can't be seen in some territories due to one or more claims. And if you mouse over the eye here, the information, this gives you a little bit of detail, which is nice. It's nice to see that your video's visibility status in territories where my largest territory is, that it's visible in Indonesia and the United States, where most of my viewers come from. Thank you very much to my Indonesian viewers. I very much appreciate you, as do I my United States viewers, and everyone else for that matter, anyone else who watches. And this is blocked in Belarus and Russia, and you will see a lot of that, because I believe it's due to embargoes. But yeah, you will see that a lot, regardless of the content that you are watching. And sometimes you see it like stuff being blocked worldwide. I think that there was one or two videos, maybe I deleted them, that they were blocked worldwide. In fact, let's look at this one here. That's Indian and trad metal. Just Belarus and Russia. Okay. But yeah, there was one or two that were blocked worldwide that you know I was curious about. That's my take, that this kind of thing around fair use is really challenging, right, to navigate. That there is so many facets to it that need to be taken into account. And that something really needs to be done here. Otherwise, you know, music review channels are going to go the way of the dodo, that you're not going to have any more Justin Hawkins right again. You're not going to have any more Danny Sapkos. You're not going to have any more Charles Barthows. You're not going to have any more David 504s. And I know that's a lot of bass players. You're not going to have any more, Art of Guitar, right? You're not going to have any more Rock Professor, those guys are simply going to go, as I said, the way of the dodo, and that's not great. And that's coming from me, someone who has no skin in the game at the minute in terms of monetization. I'm just doing it for, I suppose, the love of the game, right? But look, that's my take on it. What's your opinion, right? Talk to me in the comments. Let me know things that you've seen that are interesting. Maybe you've seen someone who has managed to dodge these particular issues that simply go ahead with it regardless of the outcomes. Let me know in the comments if there's anyone that I might be able to reach out to about this kind of thing. And of course, if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of my stuff in the future, whether it includes copyrighted content or not. And as I said, leave me comments as well. I love to engage with you in the comment section, and I try to engage with everyone as much as I can. For now though, we're going to leave it there. Thanks so much for watching again, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.